From as early as 6 months old, a child can recognize differences among themselves and their peers. Young children notice how people treat one another, and they notice if they see themselves in their environments. It's important that children are surrounded by environments that are high quality, inclusive, and culturally responsive. These environments have the potential to impact children's developmental, physical, and mental well-being. The Early Childhood Collaborative Research Center, or ECCRC, at Mount Saint Vincent University is directed by Dr. Jessie-Lee McIsaac, Assistant Professor and Tier 2 Canada Research Chair in Early Childhood, Diversity and Transitions in the Faculty of Education and Department of Child and Youth Study. The ECCRC is located in Mi'kma'ki on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq Nation. The ECCRC's research is used to support policy and practice to better support families across different early learning environments such as childcare and at home.
With the Canada-wide early learning and childcare agreements, there's a strong focus on high-quality, inclusive, and culturally responsive programs. The ECCRC aims to do research to help achieve this vision by working with diverse families and communities to inform the necessary changes to policy and practice.
Amplifying the voices of Black families and educators, challenging anti-Black racism in early childhood environments was a project conducted to understand the experiences of early childhood educators, or ECEs, and parents in Nova Scotia who have and care for young Black children through 3 areas, the first being how Black children in Nova Scotia access play, including risky and outdoor play. We found that Black families and ECEs value outdoor play, but families are fearful of over-policing, stereotyping, and over-surveillance. Also, outdoor play spaces are limited in many historic African Nova Scotian communities. The second being how families and ECEs view the early learning and childcare environment for Black children in Nova Scotia. Participants talked about the intergenerational impacts of racism. Many had experienced racism themselves and feared their children would as well. Many could recall racist incidents across systems in education, healthcare, and other support services. Participants also talked about the importance of advocating for inclusive and safe spaces for children and building children's self-confidence and Black pride. The third area is how racism and discrimination are experienced by Black children and families in Nova Scotia during the early years. Participants talked about the mainstream or white normative approach to early childhood curriculum. They desire programming that will allow children to embrace and celebrate their Black identity. Programs aren't always responsive to racism, social justice, and equity, and participants discussed the absence of cultural safety in early childhood settings. They also talked about the importance of representation to children's sense of belonging. Looking through the lens of newcomer families was another project conducted with newcomer families and ECEs in Nova Scotia to learn about their unique experiences. Some common needs discussed by newcomer families were employment. Unemployment or underemployment limited families' access to programs and services for their children. Language. Language differences acted as barriers to accessing programs. And third, social network. Families and friends play a critical role in how newcomer families navigate programs. A fourth and overlying need is understanding and appreciation of cultural and racial diversity. It is important for programs to understand the needs of newcomers and create welcoming and inclusive environments.
Our studies have identified the importance of listening to families about their experiences accessing and using current programs and the systemic changes that are needed to ensure programs are responsive to diverse families. Going forward, we will continue to share the voices of families and identify ways that we can work with others to create change in early learning and childcare so that all families and their young children feel welcome, reflected, and supported.